move into Chalet. An operator who slipped through the ban phase last time was the one and only Azami. This is a map up that I think she can have an incredible impact around Library.
Oh, okay. That's not a very common one to see getting brought out. That's very targeted. I have a feeling that Death Row have just no idea, and I think Cactus is finding that quite humorous, in fact, in all chat, and the Nox going to get banned out. That's going to be the same points they brought up in the opening map. Of course, you lose that hell, that the suppression sounds that she brings out, that stealth factor, and the nades now removed from her, so that's going to be kind of forcing out likely an Azami ban, and that's exactly what we see. This is going to be a very high-impact operator. We saw how high impact it was in Oregon, and I think a little bit more flexibility here on Chalet to have it be more potent, especially look at how you can set up Mezzanine, for example, how potent she can be there, so this makes sense, and this will be a Valkyrie. Daring enough to say I'll guarantee it.
I am going to agree with you. I'm going to get the agree in before we hit 0 as well, because I think that's what's going to happen. But look, we're both wrong. At least we're wrong together. That's one way to go. Azwamai will be removed, but that's another pretty good ban. So you remove the Azami, who can hold Library. Now you've removed the Wamai, who can throw out those discs and catch all that utility that gets thrown in through there and gets thrown towards blue stairs on those top floor attacks. I know we're talking very specifically about one area of the map, but with the way we play now with it, those ground floor sites are probably the strongest ones in this map, and you need top floor control.
I mean, you got to look at how the fact is the Wamai is going to have an impact massively, and you're also going to consider that, you know, that's going to be a blow to Swaz. He enjoys playing with the AUG as well. It's going to be one of those smaller factors to consider, but as he gets stronger over time, that's going to, I think, benefit Ascend a little bit more than it would for Death Row. So I think Death Row going to pull it away, and they know Ascend is going to play a little bit more passive in reserve, especially on the defensive side. Now, the latest scene for this one. This is the map choice of Death Row. Yes, it is. I looked at my notes. I got it actually right for a change. Normally my notes are a mess. Absolute, honestly, non-comprehensible whenever I take notes. But this one I got it right. I think, fingers crossed.
I think so. I think so. So, as we look towards this map, though, but one thing I want to point again is the fact that Death Row will be starting on defense. And the way Ascend were able to carry their defenses through to get a win from what was a very strong start from Death Row, they're just going to look to repeat the feat. Do the same thing once again. And for Death Row, they learned in the last map that a 4-2 split isn't quite enough against this Ascend side. They're going to need to go hard on their defenses.
I mean, one of the factors that we talked about behind the scenes a little bit about this matchup was the fact that we believe Death Row has a little bit more longevity in a series and has that kind of bounce back factor just a little bit more than what Death Row have. And we saw that on Oregon. They were able to fight back, they were able to keep themselves in this, and I mean, Demo said round 6 were to get themselves to that 4-2 split, how important that was. It was really key for them to be able to carry that momentum into their defensive half, and things will be a little bit more different, more difficult. Now, of course, Chalet is a little bit more attacker-sided, so you'd imagine Ascend would like to bank some rounds early here. It looks like it's going to be a library-centric push for the initial stages of this round. Rorik will be a little bit over towards that bathroom repel, trying to put some alternative pressure on for the time being, but it will be primary focus towards clearing Mezzanine and Library.
Yeah, and Shukri couldn't really extend too much to get rid of that drone as well without putting himself at risk of getting taken down. He does peek towards Fluke Balcony, but Cactus is unable to find the shots that matter. So it still allows Shukri to play in this position, but you just feel things are getting a little bit tighter there up on that top floor as he gives up his position. And now he says, go Rank, it's your turn to hold this section of the map.
Yeah, he's just going to trade positions. I've had enough.
Him in.
It's a tight team matchup.
Yeah.
So you're perfect. Just like, go on in. Let's see what you can do. Cactus, though, will be the first to fall in this one. Sharky gets that one confirmed. Minute 25 left to work with. Our opening pick goes for Death Row, and this is kind of what we expect to see from Death Row. They like to find, or they are very good at finding themselves an opening pick on the defensive side in particular, and a big key factor, untraded. So they get away essentially scot-free for that one. We're past that golden ticket window of at least 5 seconds. That trade doesn't exactly count anymore, and now eventually that wall will get cracked open inside a master bedroom, give that long line of sight, and they begin to start knocking on the door of the site, but they're a player down and they're losing that key utility. But this is going to be a nasty one, as I have a feeling this side might find a freebie.
Yeah, player on piano. Frenchie has to be so careful as they're holding different cutoffs. They're holding the cutoff in through master bedroom. You have a player holding the cutoff up to half wall, and really this is giving a lot of control on this section of the map over towards Ascend, especially now they have that open. But Rykos will begin to reposition, and I like this one, but you get control of one side of the map, but there's Frenchie with the C4, able to make it a 5v3, and all that control that they were starting to get with less numbers has just been weaned away.
This is a very difficult position for Ascend to fight themselves back in. Now it's going to be a little bit more direct, and I think they're going to try and push some pressure up in Solar later on in this stage. But with 20 seconds left to go, it's going to be very kind of scorch earth tactics to get this one done. 15 seconds, Swaz down inside a snowmobile as well. He'll pop up and he'll likely just get many freebies here. But this is going to turn the tide a little bit. 2 quick picks, and it's going to be down to 2 versus 2. Swaz is alone, and he is now fully alone. The case will go down. The cover is there. Swaz left in a 1v2. He has to try and deny this. He doesn't spot the case going down. Now he does, but just a fraction of a second late. The cover is still there. Sledge on full HP, or essentially full HP as well. Swaz has no information. He has to go.
Put a bit of Swaz on it. There you go. Get the kill. Win the round. And well, what a shot that was. I don't know if you could see Whip it out. He now fell off his chair with that one. But Death Row somehow snatch victory in the round from the jaws of defeat. And well, this is why we say when Swaz is alive, Death Row will always have a pulse.
Words, they're not so good. It's hard now to talk about words. What? Swaz just goes, yeah, I've got no info. I'm just going to kill him.
Yeah.
Job done.
And you know, there's a reason why we know a lot of people that like to ban away that operator as well. Alibi can cause havoc in the late game, and that's one of the reasons why. So many bullets in the mag, and look, at the end of the day, these players, they aim for heads.
Nice little action replay of that one as well. Just a fraction of a second late of denying the actual case going down, but then, look, perfect flick onto the head, gets it done, gets the round in favour of Death Row, but there's an asterisk to that one. They nearly threw a guaranteed round victory and forced Swaz in a 1v2.
Yeah, but at the same time, you got to say that was huge play by Swaz. You cannot in any way take it away from him. You know, we're not going to take a big play away from a player here.
I'm not taking it away. Okay, well, let me rephrase. It was enabled by his team trolling just a little bit.
Oh, Demo like that one.
Yeah,
well, look, one thing I will say is that round, it ebbed and flowed massively. I thought for sure the minute that they got the pick on the player pushing in the site with the case when it went cold, I thought that was the round one for Death Row. But then it swayed one way and back the other, and Death Row were able to win that one out in the end. So now we move to round 2. And something I'd love to know is what the heart rate of those Death Row players is after that one.
I would give anything to see these players with heart rate monitors. This would be... Just imagine all of a sudden, you know, you're looking like a round... Imagine Swaz. His heart would have been, oh, this should be a free round.
I'd say he's just chill. I'd say his heart rate didn't get going there at all.
It's true. I mean, just imagine like Uno, any of the Finnish players, they just stay baseline the entire way. Absolute ice cold. But, well, alas, we must move on. We have to deal with this one ahead of us. So go right, and let's just post up outside of piano with support from that Valkyrie. Windows getting pressured, and you got a feeling like the crossfires getting established to try and pinch all these players on the roam upstairs. Death Row, they've been very good at finding the opening pick. This map will challenge that. Can they continue to have that kind of philosophy? Get in the opening pick, get it on traded. If they do get themselves traded, being able to trade that one back, it won't be as easy to enable. And if you walk into that, you're going to give away soft picks quite easy.
Yeah, and that's what Ollie and Demo were talking before the round, is being able to put yourself outside the building itself and get those picks onto the defenders, and it enables you to take some ground away from Death Row. So down goes the Warden, and that's an operator. When you look at the lineup that they have, there's only a couple of stuns and a couple of smokes in the hand, so he might have had a massive impact, but there's another kill from outside the site as Deadshot thought about throwing the nade in towards Swaz, but he will crawl towards Frenchie and look to get back up. Azox will take down Shukri though. And as of right now, until this picks up... Oh, there you go. There, you've got the pick. It's back to a 5 versus 3. There is the C4 to slowly pull this one back. And Swaz is starting to get on a bit of a burner.
Swaz just wakes up from DBNO and goes, yeah, let's just get a C4. Just like that. Yeah, it doesn't matter. I'll get that job done. But 55 seconds left to work with, and now you begin to feel a little bit of pressure. What can they do? Advantage sits with Ascend and try and clear that split drone. Just trying to make sure there's no extra eyes, no extra information. The round will draw quiet now, as the teams will try and relocate, find what positions they can. This site will get pressured, the verticality will open up, all these key positions will find themselves squeezed and pinched and pressured just a little bit. And the case is currently cold. Now I'd imagine it will get recovered, but I don't want to be the one to say, if you don't pick that up, that wind condition can be pretty nasty. Smoke goes in the lobby, and that's going to be Swaz. Woken up from his slumber, finds one of the dead shot. This could be huge. 20 seconds, and that's going to be another one. Frenchie finds it onto Rayokos, and this is going to be a problem. 15 seconds. You need to find the next pick on the mezzanine. And he missed those shots. Cactus, you got to hit those, but he eventually will do so. And 2 quick picks once again arrive from Ascend. 8 seconds left to go, and Prime will battle outside the lobby. But the case is there. It's completely cold. The Ash will try and recover it, and there's going to be a last second gasp of desperation. And Death will get it done.
He ran away. That's the right choice. Get out of there. Win the round. And that's twice in a row now that Death Row have won rounds which they had no right to win whatsoever. And these are momentum builders. These are rounds that Ascend are going to be like, what is going wrong? How are we not winning from these positions? So now as we enter round 3, this is a critical round for Death Row. We know that last time they were able to win 4 rounds on defense. Then there was, well, after the 3rd round is when we saw that tack timeout coming in from Ascend. If Death Row win this one, especially with the manner that they've done it with it, do you think that Ascend may do the same thing twice?
This is a very different story. Now, the results scoreline at the top of your screen looks the same, but those 2 rounds, well, came down to, I think, the slimmest of margins you can possibly find in a game of Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege. That was run away and win by the very, very smallest of fractions of time. And of course, Swaz in the opening one got pretty heroic flick as well to get that victory. But for Death Row, it's not been as clean and as clinical from the defensive sides that we saw them have on Oregon. Now, of course, it's a little bit more of an attacker-sided map, so you'd expect Ascend to be able to dictate and control the ebb and flow and the pace just a little bit more, which we've seen. But Death Row still find a way to win, and that's the important part.
Yeah, and winning rounds is all that matters to them at this stage. They need to win this map to force the 3rd map, the tiebreaker in this one. But as you said, for Ascend, these rounds, there's going to be a little inquisition as to how they're not winning them, but you got to give credit to the players that matter. One thing I want to talk about, and I know that we keep talking about Swaz, and it's because he's playing so well. On defense is where we normally see him going really, really big. He did it in the last map, and he's doing it in this game again. If he can transition that into attack with it, I don't see Death Row not winning this map, but he needs to do it on attack.
If there was a map that you could do that style of play on attack, it would be Chalet. You got a lot of extra options. You can play around those windows. You can get killed externally. And that's going to be Shirky getting that opening pick. That is huge on that Kaid. A nice angle boosted up as well on the main stairs. You're not going to be wanting to die that one a second time, but with 2 minutes left to go, an untraded opening pick goes in favour of Death Row, and this is exactly the territory they want to find themselves in. You kill the Ash. That's 2 breaching rounds. That 2 soft breach utilities are now brought away. That begins to find a little bit of pinch of some firepower, of course, reduced from the side of Ascend as well.
So now for Deadshot, he's going to just slow it down a little bit. Get intel. You've got nades from below. Yes, that area of effect isn't as good as it once was, but it still can have an impact if you get the information down to a T. They've got control now of that mess. They're going to open up the wall above as they look to breach in and get some control of that top floor. But with 1 minute and 20 seconds gone, Death Row are playing this one really well. But all of a sudden, Frenchie with just a little bit of HP, he's been spotted out and the nade's being cooked.
This is going to land absolutely perfectly. No! It does land, but after he gets himself removed from the server, Deadshot falls, he will get Frenchie in the DBNO, and now it's going to be down to Cactus. He can try and hold this cross to try and get a revive up, but Shirky's going to find a second round now on an enemy, and that's going to be a 3rd. Now shuts it down. 5 versus 1. Ascend, you've got Cactus, who absolutely went nuclear in the previous round, but you can't imagine he'll last too much longer. Shotgun up close and personal, DMR will find one, and he finds a second one. Gibby, am I going to start to believe in this one? If he can find just one more, I might start believing if Cactus can get this one done for 35 seconds. It will leave a lot of asking and no case in hand either. It's very far away in jungle, so I think it might be safe to put your money down and say it's going to be around for Death Row.
But while there's a chance. The intel is being passed. Pre-fire coming around, and Cactus takes another chunk of damage. And there is Shukri to get it. And that was a quad kill that time, if I am not wrong. And Shukri having an impact in this one. We spoke about it. Is there a more dynamic duo in Challenger League right now than the 1-2 punch that is Swaz and Shukri?
On their day, Aces in Kaneo, maybe?
This is true. But they don't play the Thursday.
Let's try to wait for that one.
Yeah.
I know. What a shame. What a shame. Imagine we had more best of 3s today.
I'd love it. As long as they go all the way.
Oh, so you wouldn't want quick best of 3s?
No. I want to enjoy every single moment, seeing these players do what they can do. And look, the only losers here, but if we go all the way, is the viewers, because they have to listen to us.
I can imagine that. God forbid. But once again, 3 rounds go to death row. Now, 2 of those, let's put asterisks on them, but they got the rounds. Of course, credit where it's due. Ascend, not calling attack time out this time. I thought this is way more controllable for them. But it's a similar story once again, and this map leans attacker-sided. This could be a problem for Ascend. It's beginning to build up that way. If Death Row get themselves 2 more rounds, you might look at this and say, we're in a problem territory for map number 3 for Ascend, and they want to get this done right here, right now, because, of course, getting over Death Row means they can look forward to the team they'll face next in the bracket, and they can get prep ready and get themselves relaxed and kind of cool down after this.
Yeah, and you know the team's starting to feel confident as well whenever they've got a 3-0 lead and they're going for the spawn peaks as well, trying to use that ability the attackers have to get picks from outside against them and take them on before they can even get into positions to make that impact. But Swaz needs to be careful. He has that rotate down through kitchen hatch if he can, but his job now is to waste time. There's going to be the opportunity to get a kill here, but Shukri, he lands a lot of damage, but not that final blow, but it forces the player off that position. And even though Shukri didn't get the kill, he did enough there to gain some area control.
Wall gets opened up, Cactus takes an absolute beating, and Shuriki gets himself slain. So opening pick goes in favour of Ascend this time around, and this is where Death Row tend to struggle, but they get themselves a try. GoRank finds it. And they might even find another one now, as look at this, they're going to employ the body system to get control of Lobby, and Prime will get one more. Get themselves the advantage. They've cleared Lobby, they've got control, and now Cactus steps up to the plate once again. He's already taken a beating from this position, and I'm going to queue up one by one to try and face the might and the wrath of Prime inside of Bar. They've got one player rotating all the way by West Main to try and put some pressure on the players inside of Dining, and that might just work out perfectly. But looks like GoRank's got it locked down and reads it absolutely perfectly. It is now a game of nerves, a game of patience. Who's got information and who can hold that trigger just a little bit longer. That Dokkaebi call is absolutely key. Heck, gets spotted out, but GoRank doesn't care. He wins it anyway.
Yeah, GoRank starting to have an impact in this game now after what wasn't his best performance in map 1, and this is exactly what Death Row needed. Cactus will pre-fire around that corner with the DMR once more. An enemy is holding that cut-off flank as well, but we are starting to eke in towards that last minute. Frenchie will find one, but he's traded back instantly as enemy and him trade headshots back the other way. But that breach is open with it. It is a 1 versus 3. Another situation where we have DMR up against 3 trained and angry guns of Death Row, and Cactus creeps on in. Shots coming once more. Swaz gets the kill, playing from above, and Death Row 4-0 lead on defense.
Maybe perhaps people were too quick to swap the social vote.
Just a little.
Just maybe a little bit. Maybe it's... Oh, I just cursed it again.
Yeah.
My caster curse is too strong sometimes. But with the 4-0 advantage now from Death Row, this is huge from them, because they've been in essentially complete control of this matchup the entire way. Like, yeah, okay, there's those asterisk rounds that I'm going to kind of draw on, but they managed to win those, but that's kind of the great determination they were able to get that done. If they make this 5, maybe 6 defensive rounds in a row, well, you've got to draw some questions on this. And they picked this map. No, well, Death Row picked this map. My bad. But this, I mean, good showing from Death Row. Way more dominant display from what we saw in Oregon. So hold your heads up high with that one. Good recovery as well, considering it was a long Oregon matchup as well. They've reset themselves perfectly and now Ascend and need a bit of a reset. And maybe perhaps that tactical talent that works so well from an Oregon needs to be called out.
Well, this is a big round now for Death Row because they couldn't get over that 4-2 splits in the first map. If they get this round and they move to 5-0 lead, it's very difficult for Ascend to pull back from that position, no matter how structured and how well they play. And this is more like the Death Row that we were expecting to see in this series. They're playing much better. Every single player getting involved. And you look at the likes of Prime and Frenchie, whenever their kill score is low, it usually means they're winning rounds with it because the rest of the team is carrying the burden, and that's the way they set up to play with Shukri and Swaz and GoRank.
I mean, perfect analogy. They are that super support role. They are not designed to get the picks. They are designed to hold on the objective. They are there to enable, to ensure, to almost be that insurance policy on the win condition, which is to hold on the bomb site no matter what. And they've been doing a good job so far. Prime had a huge impact pick, clearing Lobby in the previous round that essentially unraveled what I said we're trying to do. And speaking of unraveling what they're trying to do, Shuriki gets that opening pick on the And this is huge. The opening pick goes in favour. Once again, not traded. Very nearly gets traded though. Taps away on that pixel angle, but he's going to survive to live to fight another day. He might get daring around this position instead of library. If he peeks his head on this rotation, he might just get caught. And he's going to absolutely stealth mode and sneak and crawl and pivot his way around. And his buddy is there as Frenchie. And this might be a problem for Sledge. He'll tap and try and fire away and gets caught out. 3 people trying to push him. It's going to be an absolute bloodbath instead of library, but calm now. That's going to be another pick. Death Row absolutely throwing everything at this so far. A minute 35 left to go. 3-2 advantage for them.
Yeah, and they are absolutely shook by this performance by Shukri so far in this one, as it's back to a 3-2 scenario. And Shukri, he's already done his job this round, and he's still alive and still in the fight, and now he's going to push on, and he gets another one. It's actually Go Rank that finds that one onto enemy, and it's all down to Cactus. He's going to get taken out by Prime, and Death Row 5-0 to the good on their defensive half. And well, we have a game on our hands.
A very opposite to perhaps what a lot of people were expecting. We had an Oregon that went back and forth all the way to 12 rounds, and now we have what might look to be 7 rounds on Chalet, if the momentum continues in this way. Death Row, 5 rounds, realistically uncontested from Ascend. This is a very different side. They've woken up, they've listened to the desk. They decided, you know what, let's all show up, let's all perform, let's all have our impacts in our own unique way to the team. And the very final defensive round for Death Row now begins. If they get this round, they move themselves on the map point on their opening half. That is huge at this stage of the competition.
It's kind of mad to think that on attack, Ascend have been really toothless over both of these maps. When you think about it, 2 rounds in map 1 they won on attack, and now as we move to map 2, they haven't even won a round yet as they move into their final attack. So can Death Row see out a flawless defensive half and really force the agenda? If you're Ascend and you go 6-0 down, but do you kind of just think GG next and try to get into that next map?
You'd want to imagine they can have that resilience. Okay, like bounce back, it was our opposition's map pick, now it's going to go to that decider. Now, to not look too far forward into the future, that decider is border. I think that might favour Death Row. That might actually be a map that will favour Death Row. And I'll tell you what though, that nade doesn't favour Swaz. He gets himself picked away, and this is much better. The opening pick goes untraded in favour of Ascend. It gets a massive high impact player of Swaz and takes away key utility like that C4. It could be a factor down below, but Shirky gets himself traded and finds a second. He can't be stopped. They cannot find a way to contain this man at all. Information doesn't matter. He'll win the fight no matter what. And now you find yourself in a problem. Now, not only did he get a trade, he got himself the advantage. This is Death Row down to the T. What a pushback again, and just using the audio cues. You know there's a player on the double window, but he didn't swing Solarium because he was waiting to bait the player to swing inside. Once that happens, he gets the kill, and it's too little, too late on the refrag, and now Death Row are in a 4 versus 3. Shukri still holding control of this top floor, still causing problems for the members of Ascend, but with 1 minute and 40 seconds to go, that is still an eternity weapon when you're playing on attack, especially when you look and they've still got 4 drones that they can play with, they can get intel with, they can work out where these defenders are. So yeah, yes, it was a nice play.
Less drones now.
Okay, well, it was a great play upstairs to get those 2 picks, get that trade back, and you said they had lots of time. Now, less drones and less comfort because you have 1 less player to work with. 4 versus 2, minute 15, and Ascend really need to find an answer. They need to get 2 picks, and they need to get them reasonably quick as well. The bar is quite close, or the side is quite close to them, so they can try and brute force this, but I'd imagine you're going to be walking into a nice, nasty crossfire. No one's opened up inside of dining yet, and the peak from Ivy Stairs is there, and that'll be Prime who shuts it down, and leaving it all down to, well, dead shot in a 1 versus 4. 50 seconds left to work with, and once again, I'm not going to see this going in favour of Ascent. I have a feeling Death Row are about to get themselves 6 rounds in a row. They're about to set themselves onto map point on the opening half of it, after what was a very tight opening map of the series.
It's a brave call up at 4v1. And you're saying that they're going to win this round. Brave call.
I know.
But I'm getting a real sense of deja vu as well. How many times have we seen the DMR operator, whether it's Lion, whether it's Twitch, being the last player alive in these massive 1vx scenarios? And the DMR, it hits really hard, but it doesn't suit those scenarios. Well, there's going to be a swing. Shukri is going to swing around the corner again. I have a question for you. Is it Swazkri? Or would you call it... No, actually, the other one doesn't work. What would you call this 1-2 punch here that's going on right now?
I'm bad enough at pronouncing names. I'm not even going to try and make up a name.
You should try.
No.
Chat might pick for us.
No.
Yeah. No?
No. Well, I can't see chat right now, can I?
No, but production can.
No. No, Gibby. Gibby, I'm scared. You've had 2 puns already. I'm scared you might... Oh, no. He's had 3. Oh no, oh bother, oh dear. But for Death Row, they find themselves on map point. This is a very dominant display on Chalet. It is their map choice, and they move on to what is the most favoured side, the offensive side on Chalet. And we get a nice little glimpse of this play again inside the master bedroom. Gets one, repelling in Solar, looks absolutely perfectly 180 around, gets the second on the Cactus, and essentially that round was won from that stage. They had complete control. The second pick that arrived, or the third pick that arrived from them as well, really did kill it dead, but they got themselves all that momentum from that play. Now, Death Row, 1 round from getting themselves on the map 3, which will be Border. This is where I will say the 1 round mentality might begin to creep into their minds.
Yeah, just a little bit. Ascend, though, they've not used the tack time out. They've not taken the opportunity to regroup themselves. Something tells me they're just going to give this round a go. They've probably... You know, you can in a best of a 3, you can lose a map. It's all about who wins the 2 maps out of the 3 that matters, and it's really a long journey back for Ascend from this point. But I said, that 1 round mentality, it kind of has to affect both these sides. Ascend can't worry about the next round or the one after. They need to focus on this next round too.
This frees up Ascend a little bit. Yes, okay, it's a pretty dire straight situation. You're 6 rounds down. It's, you know, you lose a single mistake. Oh no, it's, you know, you're going to the next map, which is Border. But you can play a little bit freer now, knowing, okay, right, it's a long mountain to climb, it's not going to be an easy one, so let's play a little bit more loose, a little bit more free, and let's see what the game presents to us now. Will Death Row give us an opportunity that we can exploit? Will they play a little bit over-aggressive, too confident, or too passive? And that's going to be enemy getting the opening pick on the Shirky, who's been a massive impact player so far, and you take away the sledge, you take away some of those nades, and Yana's only got 1 left in back pocket as well, so that's absolutely huge. Ascend in a good position, and it was untraded once again.
Yeah, big pick, and it gives Ascend a second now to think about what's going on. For Death Row, the objective is still the same. Try take control of this library site, and they get some intel that something is happening below. Get rid of both of those frost mats, so Swaz learning from what happened in the last map as he's able to take those ones out. But now they have control of library. You've still got 1 minute and 40 seconds left to go. You look at the information that they can gather. You've still got 3 Flores drones. You've got 2 drones on Thermite, 1 for Swaz, and Prime has 2 in the back pocket as well. Now you want to work out where the push is coming from, and don't give these defenders a free and easy pick. And you got to look right now, and Azok's on this position on piano was a pretty critical one.
If they can clear this effectively, they get themselves so much extra control. Now, Flores show will force him back and create a little bit of pocket of space, and no one's there to push directly into it as the long line of sight's being shut down by that Warden. He can be a sentinel, lock it down and have complete and utter control. Aox will push forward just a little bit and play a long cross angle. The head hole's enabled to be able to try and deny the player on balcony. So it's going to be an intricate game of chess now. With Death Row having 1 less player, they need to play this absolutely perfectly. And a lot of this pivots around clearing the Jaeger, who's playing close to piano. As the front lines, look at this, have all fallen back. They're going to fight long, but Frenchie's walked on in. He's just going to get control, and Prime could be a huge impact here. But Swaz gets picked off. 1 in DBNO. The case goes down.
But it's a 2 versus 5 as Deadshot's able to find 1, and it's down to Frenchie and GoRank now. GoRank will hold the head holes the reverse way. He finds the head of Azox, and now we're in a 2v4. Frenchie's going to try find an impact pick of his own, and he is going to get it as we go to a 3 versus 2. And the player goes to the diffuser. Warden is not going down, but GoRank is able to get that one. And now 20 seconds to go. Cactus gets 1. It's a 1v2. Frenchie's getting aggressive. The drone is being diffused. He's pushing up towards the door, but this could be it. He peeks around, he gets the kill, and that is going to be GG. No! Whip it! I think he's got enough time.
It's going to come down to the margin. It's going to be an absolute nail biter. Who's going to get it? He gets it. Yes. Oh, I want to know how long was left in that one. I want to know how long was left in that one. That was nearly, by milliseconds, a perfect post plant. It was a 2v5. They nearly get it done. Oh. That is going to sting. that is going to sting for the side of Death Row. But I said, Ascend need to play what's given to them. They can't play this idea of going, all right, it's going to be an easy task, because it won't be. You have to get now 5 more rounds to get yourself just to overtime, and that's not even going to guarantee you get the map if you go all the way to overtime. But they said, come, and they won it. But what a round that was! What a post plant, and what a conclusion! Coming down right to the bitter end.
Oh, here we're going to get the slow motion.
This shot. Look at this shot.
I know. It's fantastic by GoRank as he gets that one French. He stuns and he gets the kill and he just cannot get back. He went for the repeak. I understand that. He was feeling it. You know, you get confidence when you get the kill. 7.08 seconds. That is the small margins that make this game so special. That is the narrowest of margins, and 0.28. 0.28 was the difference maker in that one. And all that hype and excitement, they're still down by 5 rounds.
They got one though, consolation round.
That's a finger back on the grip. There's a chance that they could slowly get on this one, Whippet. Slowly,
they're going to start getting themselves into this one. Now, if you're backing Ascent, you're one of those people that swapped your vote from Death Row in the socials. Come on, we know a lot of you's done it. You know, alright, maybe things are going to be a little bit more 50-50 in this one. So it's still going to be a difficult one to win this back for Ascend. Let's be realistic in this one. They have to get 5 more rounds just to get themselves to overtime, which means they have to play kind of 3 more rounds and a little bit of a shootout to even try and have a chance to win this series out right here, right now on Chalet. So it will be a long slog of an evening, or Death Row can get it done at any interval soon. But let's hope they don't leave us waiting too much longer.
Yeah, and clearing out library again looks to be the objective. The 4 players playing over by the windows now look to take this position. Deadshot will provide a lot of support over by the top of that mez as Rykos plays this position. He can drop down through the hatch bow, but normally this player, normally that player plays his life in that position, but no, he puts a little bit more rank on it, and GoRank will get the opener on to Cactus. Minute and 45 seconds left, opening pick on the board, but Frost has a nasty little habit of having an impact from beyond the grave.
I think they've learned their lesson already, that they're going to be cautious of these pog mats as they've all done in, but no matter the level, no matter the player, of course you can always just have that little thought in the back of your head for it. The player crossing the lower side of that double window, expecting someone to be repelled. A lot of damage done, and then get themselves a trade back at least in a 4 versus 4. They might try and get themselves a little bit more direct avenue of approach here. Now they know they have that initial control of library, and they might be thinking sooner rather than later to get this execution rolling.
So now we're in that 4v4 situation. Rykos has taken a lot of damage though on the Melusi, and there's no way that he can get that HP back. So that's something Death Row could potentially capitalize on. But they've still got some very good positions. Swaz is playing below. Deadshot still has control of top floor, but Prime is going to look to put some pressure on that from Fluke Balcony. Now, Swaz in this position, getting droned in, getting intel, you gotta say Death Row have level numbers, but they have a lot of information as to where these defensive players are playing.
They have the information, but they don't have a lot of time to work with. They have 30 seconds to make something happen, and this could be a real big problem. I see your heads and hands, Gibby. You've seen something atrocious. And look at this timing. Ascend will get 1 pick. Enemy finds one of the Frenchie. The case goes down. And a second one. Ascend. Everything falling in place for them. Death Row crumbling at the final hurdle here. 13 seconds. And once again, I'll make a brave call and say, I'd imagine this round will go for Ascend. Let's go rank it to 1 pick the enemy. But yes, it's all but over at this point. Yeah, it's pretty safe to say. And that's going to be a nice little 2-piece end off. Ascend, get the job done. And get themselves a second round in a row. There's no way we're going to watch a reverse sweep.
So, confidence is a very funny thing, Whippet. It really is. It can go in the blink of an eye, but you can also regroup it. And as it's standing, the confidence, that little itch is starting to grow for Ascend as they've won 2 rounds very well. There's a lot of emotion in those rounds. They pulled it back from very difficult positions. And while confidence grows on one side, on the shoulder of Death Row, there's this nasty little goblin called Doubt. And it's getting bigger and bigger as things stand. And that could have an impact for Death Row here too. They want to get out of Chalet as quick as possible.
This is a scary situation for Death Row. Now, they have every odd stacked in their favour. bar that psychological one, right? Ascent just got 2 rounds, and 2 confident rounds, back to back. Well, not quite confident.
Emotional rounds.
Yeah, there we go. That one was, the previous one was pretty confident from them, indeed. Now, if they get a 3rd, I believe they find a 4th. And if they get a 4th, they can probably get a 5th. And they can do all that, they might as well get us all the way to overtime.
That happens. This is one of the best starting days to CL we have had in a long, long time. Game number 1 between these 2 giants of the Tier 3 siege in France, and we have been treated so far. So let's get ready to jump into this one. This is the 3rd match point that Death Row have had in their back pocket, and they've taken a very similar attacking lineup once more, but a little bit of a difference. Shukri is going to take Glass into play. No Nades is going to take the smoke, so it's old-fashioned Glass that we're going to have, but bear in mind he now has 3 speed, and not only that, he's got himself a nice little gun in the back pocket as well. It's no longer a pistol operator.
He's got a bearing 9, so if the DMR runs out, guess what? He's got a close range option as well, and that bearing 9 is not something to turn your nose up at all. He's actually got a pistol.
Oh no.
He got the PMM.
Well,
so,
if he hits his shots, we're wrong.
I mean, highest damage pistol in the game.
And we're always wrong.
Yeah, there's a reason why we're on this side not actually playing the game, because we get a lot of our stuff wrong sometimes. So 2 minutes left in this round, and well, for the time being, I'm really intrigued to see how this Glass has a factor as we get closer towards that crunch time. What are they intending to do? How is this execution going to roll? As I'd imagine, with Prime also on that Ying, they're going to go for something very explosive and dynamic in the final few moments.
Well, they've identified the vertical play with that drone that is being held by Ralcos from above with a castle, so that's going to make pushing in through the breach a little bit difficult. Now, an opportunity to retreat has been provided if they want to do so as well, but you've still got Maestro in kitchen as well, so you've got a lot of guns trained on this push that's coming on in. The attempt at the nade is going to do more damage to his teammate, and just in the blink of an eye, Deadshot and Ralco is going to take down Frenchie and Prime, and well, things are slowly but surely starting to swing back in towards Ascend's favour, and with 1:10 seconds left, it's back to the drawing board on this round as Death Row, they're going to go for taking that vertical control, but is it too little too late?
It might just be. You have a minute now to orchestrate this brand new plan. Now it's going to have to try and be as dynamic as possible, and it's going to get even more problematic. They lose one more player, they lose Swaz, and they lose gold rank as well. 3 for Deadshot, that's going to be a flawless round from Ascend on the tertiary site. Oh my, I'm starting to believe just a little bit. That reverse sweep might be on the cards.
It's that thing again, it's confidence, and that was a flawless round, and look at the shots they were hitting as well to clutch that one out. But the verticality had a massive impact. You had 2 players pushing for the breach. Castle was able to open that floor from above and just shut down that part of the attack. And the thing that would frustrate Death Row with that one is they knew the player was there. They droned out the verticality a little bit earlier in the round.
That's a heart-sinking round. That is a really tough one to swallow. And they had themselves set up for a pretty good execution as well. They had that Glass-Ying combination. They were trying to brute force it. Now, they've just dropped 3 rounds. That is half their advantage gone. And this is, as you said, where that Goblin of Doubt begins to be a little bit of a burden on your shoulders. This is a very key stage of the matchup for Death Row. Can they manage their lead? Can they close it out? Because if they can't, they go to lower bracket. This is a very... I think this is... I don't like to use the word interesting sometimes. I think it might be a perfect way to look at this one. As this one begins to unfold, I can't keep my eyes off it.
Well, that's because you're the caster. You have to keep your eyes on the action. But come on, you know this as we move in to round...
I meant to look at the game?
Yeah.
I'm looking at the Ascend screen actually over there.
Well, now we move to round 10, and Death Row are getting players on positions. They're trying to maybe force that opening pick from outside the building. Ascend have done a great job of repelling and rebuffing these attacks that have been coming in from Death Row. Now Swaz will look to isolate that player on Solarium Stairs. That's why you get the Ying on the windows as well. So the nade is looking to chase and flush enemy out of that position, but that's a nade wasted. And the best thing that I like about this is Deadshot is able to push or hold the trophy push, and then you've got enemy on the stairs holding Solarium. Those two are working in tandem with each other to hold and halt this push, and they've already chewed 1 minute off the clock.
Huge time waste from Ascend once again, and this is what they've done in Oregon. They wasted time. They just held the